Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Online Teaching Show. So glad to see several of you waiting in the chat. I'm trying something a little bit different today without a microphone set up, so I'm just using my computer. But anyway, welcome. If you are live, you'll see a chat on the right-hand side. Would love for you to say hello. Let us know where you are tuning in from. I see that Vanessa, yes, Vanessa's here. Awesome. Hello, Vanessa. Where are you coming in from, Vanessa? I also see Archana is here and my cat as well, trying to get up on the shelf. So yeah, if you are here, would love to know where you're tuning in from and how your classes were today. So do let me know how everything is going. So today we have another interview, and I'm going to bring up Frazer. I see him down below in a minute after we kind of get settled and chat for a couple of minutes, and we're going to talk about online freelance teaching, a little bit about what Frazer does and his business, a little bit about his website, his sort of journey through online teaching, because he's done a lot of really cool things, and I wanted to share that with all of you. So let's see who's here. I've got a bunch of people saying hello. Awesome. Hey, Ben, good to see you. Great. Yeah, you just got hired with a few companies, I think, so that's awesome. Hey, Cindy, glad that you're here. Hey, Fernando, awesome, from South Texas. Very cool. So I got to keep remembering not to say this evening, because as you know, it's evening for me. Stacy's coming from Florida. That's right. Awesome. And teacher Jen from New York. Very cool. Brandon, good morning. Glad to see you. So yeah, if you've got any thoughts as we're kind of getting started about freelance teaching or just about online ESL companies, Frazer and I are going to talk about, you know, sort of a little bit about the industry now, and because we both do a lot of recruiting and are connected with several companies. So that'll be great when we get to have him up. N Planted, hello from Vancouver, Canada. Awesome. Good to have another Canadian in here. Just finished my VIPKid classes for the morning. Awesome. Wonderful. Ben's from Tennessee, that's right. Laura's here. Hello, Laura. Wow, we've got 20 people. You guys, if you would like to just click the like button, it really helps YouTube to do its thing and send it out to more people. So would love it if you could click like. And YouTube tells me that most of you are not subscribers. So please click the subscribe button, look below, and make sure that you are subscribed. And the bell for notifications if you want to get notified for things like this when I go live, or when I make new videos. Archana says, I'm from India and the day was amazing. Not much stress. Awesome. Well, your day is starting well. I hope it continues to do well, and we're glad to have you here. Vanessa says, I'm from Rhode Island. Yep, been here 10 years, but I'm originally from Malaysia. Oh, no way. That's cool. So I don't know if you know, but I live in Malaysia. I live in the capital city, Kuala Lumpur. So would love to know, Vanessa, where you lived. So that's really cool. Catherine says good morning as well. Awesome. Hello, Gwen. Good to have you. So I had a little new intro today. I don't know if anybody noticed the kind of rock and roll intro, but yeah, trying to spice things up a little bit on the show, add a little bit more entertainment, and hope you enjoyed that. So it's a little compilation of some photos from different shows. So this is number 13. I've been showing up every Monday for the last 13 weeks, and it's been tons of fun, doing some interviews, doing some chats about different companies, and sometimes we've been able to spin the wheel and give away prizes and feature different online teacher businesses as well. So I'm really interested in featuring online teachers that are in that space of creating content, or, you know, have a business for other online teachers. So if you are someone like that, or you know someone like that, please get in touch with me. I would love to feature them on the lives. So, well, what we'll do is we'll get started because it is 9:15. I apologize. I'm starting a few minutes late. I had a class from 8 to 9 and just finished, so I had to set up a little bit and trying out a slightly new little setup here. So yeah, it's working well. So I'll always start before like 9:10, but that's why we're a little bit late today. So yeah, if you've got any questions for me or any thoughts about online teaching, please pop them in the chat. Cool, 23 people here. Michelle says, good morning, Tim, watching you from the Philippines. Awesome. Welcome, Michelle. Good to have you here. And thank you for the comment about the great intro. That's great. Good to know. And Yvette is here as well. Yes, you are a regular in the chat on my live. So yeah, say hello to everybody in the chat. And we will get started with Frazer. So are you ready, Frazer? Okay, awesome. We'll add you up here. There we go.
Hello, everybody.
There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of playing around. Do you use StreamYard? I'm playing around with a few of the...
This is my second time, so I was on somebody else's channel a couple of weeks ago, but it seems like a really good app.
Yeah, this is now hiding me, so I'm going to put us like that.
By the way, that was some intro you had there. It was pretty cool. I got to up my game.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to add a few different things. So now that I'm paying for the StreamYard Pro or whatever it's called, I'm able to put a few new things in. So like the branded stuff. And yeah, anyway, good to meet you, Frazer. Thanks so much for coming on. So I thought maybe you could introduce yourself. And I know a little bit about you. I know that you're in Thailand, in Hat Yai, right? And you've been an online teacher for a while. And maybe you could just let us know, you know, the last several years of what you've done in a nutshell, and your journey in online teaching and what you do now.
So I started online teaching maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I started for a Vietnamese company teaching adults online. It's called Topic and Native. It's still about, but they don't pay very well these days.
Right.
And anyway, I've over the last 6 years, I've taught for lots of different companies. I've tried different types of teaching, freelancing and other stuff. I live in Thailand, like you said. But as I went through all these companies, people were always asking me what I did. So I was giving advice and telling people about the different companies that are there. And then 2 years ago, I decided to create onlineteachers.club, which tried to be just a big list of all the schools. It's slowly growing, and a way for teachers to find out about online teaching, what it is, and how they can get involved. So I've been doing that for a while now. I've been helping teachers get into different companies, and I've also recently I launched a course on Udemy to teach people how to start online teaching, because I don't know, you and me, we think it's easy, we know how to do it, but there's a lot of people who have never taught online. They're not very technical, and they really don't know where to start with everything. So I kind of created like a crash course for dummies on Udemy. We've got 110 students, so that's going quite well. Yeah,
fantastic. So what's in that course that you have created? Sort of kind of
basically it's like online teaching for dummies. It'll go through the basics of what it is, what equipment you need, how it works, how you can do it, the platforms that are out there. And then there's a whole module on how to get hired, how to prepare a CV that will get you hired, how to do the demo classes, the interview, go through the training, how to find different companies, review them, research them, and decide on where to apply. And it also has a module on freelancing, how to create your website, market yourself, create funnels to get students, pay-per-click ads and things like that as well. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. So you also run some Facebook groups, right? I'm not.
Yeah. So that's
what group, but I've seen you in Facebook groups. So a lot of my audience might be on Facebook online teacher groups as well. So which ones are you admin of?
Yeah. So when I started teaching about 5 years ago online, right away I said, let's create a Facebook group. So I created one about 5 years ago. Now, as online teaching has become much more popular, the group's grown to about 60,000. The group that I manage is called Online English Teaching Jobs, all in capitals. Also, I manage online teaching jobs in Asia, online ESL jobs, and online teaching jobs for non-natives. So I manage all those groups. I've picked some up over the years. A couple of them I bought, which you're not supposed to do, but I did. As it's a way of building my brand, driving teachers to my website. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So those
That's
are the
great.
groups that I manage. Yeah.
I used to think that you were the one that ran oetjobs.com, but that's not any connection to you, right?
No, I don't know who that is. No.
Okay. It's one of the ones that one of the high ranking when you're looking for online teaching jobs, I find it's usually listed, up there for in terms of ranking. So cool. Okay. So most people watching are probably online ESL teachers and are working for some of the larger online ESL companies. And I get a lot of questions, and I'm sure you do, about the kind of state of the industry now. And a lot of teachers who are wanting to get hired and to teach online are finding things challenging. There's a lot of companies that are saturated. I mean, we're seeing companies decrease pay, go on hiring freezes and all kinds of things. So I do get people, wondering, okay, so VIPKid didn't hire me, and company ABC is on a hiring freeze. And so, you've been in this for a while. I've been in it for several years as well. What do you think, how do you see things now compared to how they used to be? And what do you think's going on? Do you think things are going to get better, or is it just COVID this year that's causing a lot of people who are working at home to want to teach online? What have you seen, or what do you think?
Okay, so I think the downtrend started even before. It was a little bit before COVID. I noticed things started to kind of get harder for online teachers to fill a schedule, and the rates started to go down, and a lot of the big companies seem to have overhired, and a lot of things even before COVID. Then COVID came in, and all these schools thought that, we're going to make a killing here with COVID, but I don't think it happened as well as they thought it would. So a lot of the companies all went and overhired, and then especially during that time, it suddenly became easier to hire teachers because there were so many, people in America without jobs, people working at home, people stuck in their houses all over the English-speaking world. So the supply and demand seems to have shifted over the last year. There now seems to be way more teachers applying than there are jobs available, whereas 3 years ago it was the opposite. Companies were fighting over teachers.
And you could walk into a company with higher pay and pretty much get fully booked right at the beginning too.
So I think because of this supply and demand, a lot of companies have realized that they don't have to work as hard to get teachers, so they've started lowering rates. A lot of companies have started spreading their hours more thinly. There's more teachers available. It makes sense for a company to have more teachers and the hours spread thinly than less. And when something goes wrong, they don't have covers and other things like that. So it makes sense for companies, if they can, to overhire. So a lot of them are doing that now. A lot of them are lowering rates. So it's becoming harder to make a full-time income as an online teacher now, which is why at the moment I'm going. Like I also created my own online school about 2 years ago. It's called flaretalk.online, and we have mainly students from Vietnam and Thailand. And that was just me creating my own website, putting a funnel, driving traffic to a free trial class, and then from a free trial class potentially to a sale. So I've been promoting that more and more. I've started banning companies that seem pretty bad at the moment from my website, from my groups, because some of them are just getting pretty ridiculous.
Yiko or Yeko?
Yeah, so Yiko went bankrupt and decided, you know what, we just won't pay anyone.
Yeah, I'm not even connected at all with them. I don't even know a single thing about them. I've actually hardly heard of them before. But
they've reopened under another name now.
Oh, have
basically. They? Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Archana says, yeah, true. Most of the schools have become insolvent and huge numbers of teachers have lost their jobs. Yeah. Laura says OutSchool is totally saturated. Yeah, I mean, chat, if you're, trying to get into companies, let us know which ones you've applied to, what your experience has been like. For anyone that's watching and you have questions for Frazer and I, would love to have you put that in the chat as well. So yeah, we were just talking about, the sort of state of online ESL teaching now and some of the reasons for that and how companies are, growing and hiring more, more teachers maybe than they need and paying less. And it can be frustrating. I mean, we got in quite a while ago when the situation was a lot better, but I'm really encouraging people to consider, taking that next step to brand themselves and to start thinking about freelance teaching or even just teaching on the marketplaces. What's your experience been like with those marketplace companies? A lot of teachers have moved to OutSchool, which has been a really financially maybe more profitable position, just because of the hours, because of the way you can set your pay. Have you done anything with marketplace companies, Frazer?
Yeah, so I kind of skipped that step. I went straight from working. I still teach in schools. I do a bit of both. I do some freelancing. I do some teaching in schools, but I never went to the middle way, which is these create a profile companies like italki, and there's a few others. I don't know. You have to be, if you're going for those kind of places, you have to be good at marketing yourself and selling yourself, because you're competing with other teachers. I often find in those places the rates just get pushed down, and it's just who can go the lowest competition. Yeah.
I think it's a good, maybe a sort of soft place to start because the students are there. And I think what a lot of teachers struggle with in the beginning is, well, how do I find my students? If they're not good at marketing or they don't have that sort of business background, that's often a stress point or a challenge, is how to find the students. So there's lots of ways that you can find students. I mean, it's the same way you're going to find customers or clients anywhere on the internet. Target marketing, you can do organic, ads, paid ads, all those kinds of things. But you will need to put effort into and start learning about how to do that.
And it takes a while for results to happen, which is why very few teachers do freelance, because it could take you 6 to 12 months to find your first student. It's like you've got to build a brand for yourself and put yourself out there on the internet, and it's not easy to do. But once you get the first 2 or 3 students, it becomes much easier, especially word of mouth will grow your business pretty fast once you've got a few students. But getting there can be difficult.
You're going to make a lot of mistakes and trial and error, and then really figuring out what students you want to teach and niching down to not just teach to everyone, but to teach to a specific type of student or to teach a particular type of English. So if a teacher was interested in getting started, like what do you probably get lots of questions as I do. What do you kind of recommend to someone that's wanting to get started with freelance teaching or take that first step?
Yeah, to be honest, it's getting harder and harder for me to recommend schools to people, because
or even for freelance teaching.
What would I advise?
Yeah,
I don't know. Someone wanting to get into the industry, I would advise them, like if they've never taught online, to go and work for some companies first and get some experience. But for advice for freelancing, I just advise people to create a brand and go very narrow with your niche. Don't just say I teach every type of English to everyone, because you're just trying to throw out a huge net, and it doesn't work. Because the students got an idea of what they want, who they want, and what kind of English they want. So they're gonna go for someone who's offering that. They're not gonna just go for I do everything somebody. So you've really got to choose a small niche, and the more narrow you go, the better. The market is huge. The market is vast. I don't worry about competition with regards to freelancing. Because the market's so big and there's so many small different niches that you can choose.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in the world that want to learn English. You know what I mean? And I think there's no time like now that people are more willing to learn online. And so, you know, it is definitely something if you're interested to explore, but as you say, it does take a lot of work. Ben says, Mr. Frazer, how much behind the scenes control do you think that the learning partners have over bookings? So I think you're talking about VIPKid, and I don't think you're with VIPKid, are you, Frazer?
I'm not. No, I've never. Yeah. I'm not American. I'm not allowed.
Exactly.
Or Canadian. Sorry, American and Canadian, right?
That's right. I can tell you that the learning partners have some control. Some students are booked by learning partners. It just depends. You know, there's like 100,000 teachers on that platform. So a lot of parents don't want to be bothered with searching. It's like hiring a travel agent to choose your hotel. They're also helping parents book teachers. So they do have some control over that, but primarily it's the parents booking. Cool. Michelle says, waiting at the moment for my schedule on VIPKid and I tutor group 2. Watching you guys' vlogs really helps, especially now that it's been a stay-at-home year. Yeah, thank you so much. It is difficult, as we were saying, to get into some of those companies. Be patient. I tell people not just to apply to VIPKid because they're the most well-known. There's lots of companies out there. There's lots of smaller companies. You can find out about companies on Frazer's website. I'm connected with several on mine. There's, you know, lots of resources out there for you. You know, get on LinkedIn and create a profile and start connecting with people. I have people reaching out to me all the time on LinkedIn with, you know, different ideas for online classes. So VIPKid is not the only company out there. It's certainly one of the larger ones, and but, you know, diversify and apply all over the place. Gretchen says, what do you do about materials if you're freelancing? So you're responsible. You gotta, you know, you can pay for curriculum, right? You can pay for online curriculum services, or you can create your own. What do you say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I create my own. The internet is just a wealth of knowledge. All you have to do is, if you want to create a lesson, you can find little bits of stuff all over and put together a nice PowerPoint or whatever. It's it's very time consuming. Create your own courseware, but once you've done it, you can use it again and again with other students.
Yep, definitely. And if you're talking about like platforms and stuff, so if you're a freelance teacher, you can, you know, choose your platform as long as you're targeting a country that's going to be able to use it. But, you know, Zoom works really well for everything. And I have a couple of students that I teach on Zoom. I think it's pretty much universal now, even in China. Most of the time. I haven't run into any problems, but I have heard people that do. So yeah, good question, Gretchen. Does anyone else have any questions, or you're just so enthralled? I see 30 people here, so that's awesome. Please hit the like button again and let us know where you're coming in from. If you're watching the replay, there won't be a live chat, but you can definitely ask questions in the chat box. And yeah, Frazer, I would love to answer them. So what are you doing now, Frazer? What's your, you're kind of working more on the freelance and the school, and are you teaching companies at the moment?
Right now I'm working for a small company in Beijing called Beijing. Actually, I don't want to say the name actually. It's a really small company, and they have maybe 15 teachers, but they're really friendly. They're really great to work with. And I'm working with them doing classes with whole schools in China. So the kind of lessons where there's a monitor on the wall of the classroom, and it's just one teacher to our entire class. You'll have a Chinese assistant with a microphone that'll run around and pass the microphone where you want it and stuff, so you can pick out students and things like that. It's quite a fun way to do it. It's more effective than you would think. You'd think it's just be chaos, but it does work. So
are you preparing the curriculum for that, or is that you're just
they prepare the curriculum?
They prepare it. Okay, so it's kind of a one to a whole class situation. Wow, that's great.
But I'm also working for Wales at the moment.
Okay.
They've got me on a kind of like a fixed contract where I'm, which I think when they gave me it, they said this is limited. We're only giving out a certain number. Most people at Wales aren't on this contract, but it's a fixed contract, which means when there's no booking or the student just doesn't turn up or whatever, you still get paid, but at a lower rate.
Oh, I have heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what Dada used to do when they first opened.
Okay.
Dada was like, oh, we give you 15 hours a week, guaranteed regardless of booking. Like, that's what it was like back then.
I think VIPKid had something like a subsidy pay or something like that when they first opened. They were paying.
Yeah, a lot of companies had this, and then one by one they've cut it out.
Yeah.
Because they can. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Cool. We've got one. Okay, Corey says, sensitive question. Find there's a range of intellectual effort, complexity, and quality to instructional styles seen online. Curious if Chinese audiences notice and would pay for that tier. Find there's a range of intellectual effort, complexity, and quality. I'm trying to understand you, Corey. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, I'm struggling to understand that one.
Are you talking about different teaching styles, different instructional styles? Curious if Chinese audiences notice and would pay for that. I mean, I think that, I don't know if this is answering your question, but I think that Chinese parents and they want just good quality teachers. So regardless of your style, whether you're bubbly or you're serious or, whatever if that's what you're referring to, if you're not, maybe just rephrase that for me. So yeah, I can understand you. So good. Thank you so much, ESL teacher Kaya. I love your Bitmoji there. Watch that online too, Frazer. I super loved it. Not sure what you're talking about, Michelle. Sorry. Do you know, Frazer?
Watch that too online. No, not sure.
Yeah. So wait for Corey there maybe to answer that. Just to to wrap it up. You were talking about what you are up to. What would be your, for someone that does reach out to you to get into online teaching, what do you suggest?
I'd recommend, if someone wanted to get in online teaching, I'd recommend my Udemy course first. Yeah. It's usually discounted to about $15. And it's a comprehensive course that just explains everything about the industry. I've been doing this for 5 years. I think I put together a pretty good course. I've had a lot of 5-star reviews. People who have known nothing, absolutely nothing about online teaching. They struggle with opening browsers and doing basic stuff on a computer, but they've run through the course and they've given a 5-star review saying how much it helped them. So that's where I send them first. If you don't want to do that, I'd say your website, of course, is onlineteachers.club. There's tons of free blogs and information there.
I mean, do you suggest like, applying to lots of places? Like, you kind of have
so somebody who's never taught online before, I'd suggest them to go and apply to 10, 15 companies, do a lot of research, find good ones, see what offers come back. Don't think that you're going to work for just one company. You can't really get away with that nowadays. If you want to do it full time, you probably got to have 2, 3, 4 companies on the books that you can open slots with and things like that to get a full schedule. Yeah. Cool. So you kind of got to juggle a little bit now, and it can be hard sometimes to juggle schedules from different companies that don't match. That one finishes 5 minutes after the other or whatever. But it seems to be the only way.
Yeah, my heart goes out to a lot of teachers who are struggling to get hired because they're great teachers. It's just the way the situation is right now, and I just have to keep saying, be patient, apply to more places, and then, consider maybe trying companies like OutSchool or these marketplace platforms where you might have a little bit more freedom, but again, it might be difficult to get established because there's lots of people on the platform. But don't give up. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, how's Thailand these days, and what brought you to Hat Yai, not one of the big cities like Bangkok? Yeah, so I've lived in Thailand about 8 years now. I first came here on a kind of a gap year from university to learn Muay Thai. Okay.
But I ended up. Well, I came to learn Muay Thai. I ended up doing more drinking than Muay Thai, but it was a good experience. And then I kind of fell in love with Thailand. I went back to the UK, and then after a while, I wasn't happy in the UK. I decided go to Australia. I went to Australia, worked there for a year, saved some money, and then I came to Hat Yai. The reason I came to Hat Yai, which is a city in the south of Thailand, is I Googled cheapest TEFL in Thailand. It sent me to a language center in the deep south in Hat Yai. So I went here, and then within the first couple months, I met my wife. Cool. So, and here I still am 8 years later.
And there you are, yeah. Isn't that funny? Searching the cheapest TEFL. I love it. And yeah, I don't really know, but you mentioned you're just bordering Malaysia, so.
Yeah. I can drive to Penang in like 4 or 5 hours from here. Yeah.
Okay. So can I. So it's probably right in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. So it's like 8-10 hours to KL. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever made that drive before?
I've done it in the big bus. Before. It's a long journey.
Yeah, I bet. Oh man, I bet it was longer than 8 hours too.
Yeah, because they stop and.
Yeah.
Big
cool.
Coach, don't drive.
I've been watching Thailand. On a side note about your visa situation, there's something in the works for a 3-month, because I'm on an expired tourist pass here, so I've got to leave in January. So unfortunately, nothing's really open right now, so the situation is a bit challenging. But Thailand is offering something coming up soon, I think. But again,
they're offering a 30-day extent, a 90-day.
90-day,
yeah. Some other things. Yeah. A lot of people have complained about the way they've dealt with it, but to be honest, all the foreigners that were here and wanted to stay, they had to jump through a few hoops, but they could stay. So it's been okay.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm glad I'm stuck here and not in the UK anyway.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, Malaysia's really gotten things under control from a very unpredictable start to COVID. We had lots of, just a lot of cases in the beginning, and they did really well. And Thailand as well, which is great. Cool. Well, thanks so much. Maybe we'll end it here. And again, I'll put I might already have your website down below, onlineteachers.club, right? There you are. You got it right there. Cool. And I'll link your YouTube channel as well, Frazer. So yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. Good to meet you finally, and keep in touch.
Yeah, good to finally chat.
Yeah.
We'll have to catch up in KL or Thailand sometime.
Yes, for sure. That would be great. All right. See you, buddy.
All right. Catch you later.
So that was Frazer from onlineteachers.club. So glad he was able to come on. And thanks to everybody for watching. I think interviews are fun because you get to hear other people's experiences, thoughts, and ideas. So I really am excited to produce more content about freelance teaching and how you can move away from some of the online schools that may be causing you to, not make as much as you want to, or achieve the goals that you want for yourself. So appreciate everybody in the chat. There is, okay, Corey's got that question again. So clarifying, if I wanted to double the effort to teach advanced ESL more than basics, how might I differentiate myself or find students looking for advanced, not just the basics? So I don't know if it's so much about differentiating yourself, but maybe differentiating. If you're talking about within a company, you might want to think about branding yourself a little bit differently within that company to attract those students. So that would go into your profile, maybe your video as well, and your photos. Maybe you can kind of target different groups of kids. I generally tell people to target middle of the age, of the span of ages, to kind of hit everybody. But that might be a good idea. This might help Corey. I prepare Chinese students for the Cambridge International English exams, and yes, they pay without a problem. The more niche you are, the more you can charge. Absolutely. It's just like, if you're a specialized brain surgeon, you're going to be able to charge a lot more money than a general doctor, or pediatrician, or whatever. So yeah, absolutely. The more niche you are, it's scary to niche down very specifically. You think that you're not going to get as many students that can find you. but really you're going to be more able to communicate with those students if you know exactly who you're speaking to. So if you're speaking to everybody, your message is going to get washed away. But if you're speaking to a specific group of people who want to learn a specific type of English structure, or to be able to pass the exam, then you're going to be able to message them and speak the language that they need. They're going to be more likely to hire you. So yeah, very cool. Let's have a look here. Anyone else in here? Michelle, good. So glad that you follow us both. That's really cool. Yeah, thanks for being here, Vanessa. And good to chat with everybody in the chat. And thanks for hanging out with us again today for the 13th episode, talking about freelance online teaching, and really appreciate you being here. I will see you next week, the same time and the same place. Bye, everyone.